Welcome people, we end up back yet again with another video. In today's video, I'll be giving a review of Chelsea's last away game, which ended in a 1-1 draw against Man City at the Etihad Stadium on Saturday evening. Now, on Saturday evening, right, after the game, I just went to bed, bro. I won't even lie, I just went to bed, right? I told myself, okay, I'll wake up early on Sunday and then start working, do my laundry, make time to film, exercise, all of this stuff. Bro, when I tell you the work overwhelmed me, it was mad. And today I had school, right? Um, early on in the day. So there's nothing I could have done in terms of filming earlier today. So I just decided, let me make the video now, you know? Yes, you could say it's late, but it's better to film a video later than you want to than to not film a video at all. So I decided I'm gonna make the video, bro, you know? So yeah, I've already introduced what I want to talk about, so let's get into it. Now, in terms of what I saw from Chelsea on Saturday evening, I'm very glad to say the boys did not waste my time. This squad did not waste my time on Saturday, fam. They went to the Etihad Stadium, right? A very, very difficult stadium to go to. And they were serious, bruv. They were serious, bro. You know what I'm saying? They went there with every intention of getting something out of the game. They didn't just go to play the game for the sake of playing the game. They went there with the intention of getting something, and that showed in their performance. It was a brave performance. The boys stuck together. I'm very, very happy. Very happy, very proud of them, right? So let's talk about how the game itself developed. Now, when you're playing Man City, right, you need to understand that you're not going to have the ball. You just need to accept that fact immediately, right? You need to be able to keep your defensive shape, not leave too many spaces between your players. And what we saw on Saturday was that we're playing in 2 rows of 4, right? And with those 2 rows of 4, when one makes a movement this way, he's being covered in order to prevent there being spaces that are too big between players, which Man City can then exploit. And at that point, it's a wrap for your team, because then they're just going to carve through your midfield and your defense. So we did a really good job of doing that, making sure we close the spaces, right? And we don't give them many options in terms of the plays that they can run. One of the few viable plays that they could run due to how we're playing is the ball in behind, right? Over the top of the midfield, right? In the air. With that kind of play, problem with that is that it has to be very, very good. You have to get that delivery on the money. That's number one. Number two, if the centre backs are tall, which our centre backs were who played in the game on Saturday were tall, DISASI and Colwell, I won't be surprised if they're at least both 1.85 meters tall, right? With them, you know in the air they're going to be good. So that, how can I say this? That limited how Man City could play. And another thing is, that's not really their style. They like to pass the ball, move it nicely, right? That kind of thing. They don't really play hoofball where they're just hoofing the ball out of the field, you know? It's really due to them that we have this fashion of playing out from the back in the Premier League. So for us to have stopped them playing how they wanted to play was very, very crucial. Because I said in the preview, we have to make them uncomfortable in some way. They were playing at home, right? They have won 11 they had won 11 games on the bounce coming into this game. They're one of, if not the best football team in the world. They're coming up against a team that has had good moments in the season, but also very bad moments. A team that has its weaknesses, a team that just has many, many challenges, many injuries, right? They had way fewer injuries than us. Everything was on their side coming into the game. So for us to play in the way that we played and make them uncomfortable was critical. Because if we didn't do that, it would have been a wrap for us. Now, throughout the game, you could see that Man City are having the ball. Chelsea are sitting back in a nice defensive shape. They're not leaving too many spaces in behind. And on top of that, when Man City lose the ball, Chelsea gain possession of the ball, we exhibited our threat on the counter-attack, which is very, very important. The reason I say it's very important is because If Man City are attacking you, right, you're sitting back in your defensive shape, and they just keep attacking, keep attacking, keep attacking, keep attacking, and you don't have a counter for them at any point in time, in my opinion, they're just going to score because they're going to keep piling the pressure, keep piling the pressure, keep piling the pressure until they find a way through, even if they're not playing at their best. Whereas if you show them that they can have the ball, you're going to sit in your defensive shape, but at the same time, you're going to show a threat on the counter attack. You're going to show them that you can do something yourself. You're dangerous yourself. That makes them feel a little bit more uneasy, a little less comfortable like they usually are. And we did that very well through players like Sterling, Jackson, Cole Palmer. They did a really, really good job in terms of being very quick on the counter attack. I said, who did I say? I said Sterling, I said Jackson, I said Palmer, and I forgot to mention Malo Gusto and Ben Chilwell. Those five players, they played their part on counter attacks very, very well. Very, very happy with their performances, right? And with the team in general, but especially them in the counter-attacking phase of our play. Now, another player I want to single out is Conor Gallagher. You could see that this man was putting in a shift. When he needs to press, he's pressing, he's doing what needs to be done. Cole Palmer helping out Malo Gusto on the right-hand side to keep Doku quiet. Sensational scenes. Everybody was doing their parts. Everybody was fighting for for the team as a whole. Everybody was sticking together, which was very, very good to see. At times this season, we've had certain players really, really doing well, like Cole Palmer doing really well, and everybody else is just not at that same level. Whereas on Saturday, it seemed like everyone was at a good high level. Now, with our counterattacks, we did eventually get our goal, and it was a very, very good goal. Very, very good goal. Well taken by Sterling. He cut in on his right foot, basically put Kyle Walker aside, looked at Edison, looked at where he wanted to place the ball, and he placed it beautifully. And for that goal, Jackson must get the credit for his assist. And I think it's important to give him credit, even though he did miss an earlier chance where we were in on goal again. Malo Gusto supplied him with a brilliant pass, and I think he should have scored. Me personally, I think he should have scored. And I think when I was watching the game, I had a negative bias against him because he had missed that chance. But it's also very important to acknowledge his role in how we got our goal. So shout out to Nicholas Jackson for that. But going forward, we must improve on the clinical finishing. Because if we don't, then who knows? Maybe we don't get a result that we want to get in future. Maybe a 2-1 win. Because we weren't clinical. You understand what I'm saying? And we could have actually won this game. If we were more clinical, we could have won the game. That's the sad thing about not being clinical. We could have gotten more than what we did get. But it is what it is. We move. Now, Sterling got that goal on the stroke of halftime, right, in the 42nd minute. And we went into the halftime 1-0 up. Second half comes, and it was more of the same. City piling the pressure, right? Trying to force a mistake of the defense, right? Which was actually playing very, very well. Malo Gusto on the right-hand side against Jeremy Doku. He pocketed him, fam. He did pocket him. You could say, oh, Doku had his moments where he beat Gusto. That's fair. But when you look at the whole game, Gusto pocketed him, number one. And number two, Palmer played a very, very big role in helping Gusto out. So shout out to them for protecting our right-hand side. Now, when you look at Ben Chilwell, I have no complaints. Because Phil Foden, who was playing on City's right, our left, he didn't do much against Chilwell. He really didn't. He didn't cook him or anything like that. Chilwell was solid and he contributed going forward. Sensational scenes. I can't ask for more. As for the centre backs, bro, let me tell you about the centre backs. Levi Colwell, he done a shift. It's decent, Some people are saying it was very, very good and things like that. I think he just did a good job. Axel DISASI, fam. Woo. That boy played. He played on Saturday. And you see with DISASI, right? He's a player who's come under a lot of criticism this season. People saying, oh, he's not good enough for Chelsea, right? And basically just coming after him, dissing him left, right, and center. But on Saturday, he produced a brilliant performance. I've seen people say it was a John Terry-like performance, and I'm not even mad at that comparison. That comparison is valid because this man was so positionally aware. He was always at the right time, at the right place. Certain moments, right, he's under pressure, he chooses to play out from the back nicely. Cool. Other moments, he's under pressure, he's clearing the ball, doing the right thing in that specific situation. I can't ask for more. I literally cannot ask for more from Axel DISASI than what we saw on Saturday. The only thing I will ask, the only thing, is he does it more often, bro. I don't want to see him being in situations where he's being grilled online for this or that. I want him to play like that 80% of the time, to give people no reason to say anything bad about him, no reason to slander him, even if we're doing bad defensively. Don't put it on him. He basically makes himself an exception, right? If everybody else in the defense is playing a bit, how can I say this? They're playing poorly. He's exalted from any criticism because he's playing well. That's what I want to see from DISASI. Shout out to him. As for Petrovic, right, when we were being attacked by City continuously, he made some good saves. One thing that I would like him to improve on is how he claims crosses, because that wasn't always so pretty on Saturday nights. That's number one. And number two, his distribution at times, he did make a few mistakes, but the level of mistakes, the severity of his mistakes has always been less than what Sanchez is capable of, if that makes sense. So for that reason, he'll definitely keep his place, no problems, just things to work on, especially leading up to the cup final on Saturday. I think it's on Saturday. What else did I want to say? Now, in the second half, City are putting pressure on us, but at the same time, much like the first half, we're showing them that we are a threat on the counter. And the game goes on, and we decide, you know what, it's time for some fresh legs, right? It's time to make some changes. We want to keep our lead. We want players out there that have got a lot of energy, who aren't getting leggy, who are stopping, who have decided to press at a less intense level because they're getting tired, right? So we decided to make changes, right? And the first change was bringing on Christopher Nkunku and taking off Raheem Sterling. Now, in my preview, I did not put Nkunku in the starting lineup. So when he didn't appear in the starting lineup, I had no issues. However, I don't think he should have been put on in place of Sterling, because I wasn't mad at Sterling's performance. As much as there was a chance in the second half that I think he should have scored, on the whole, I think he played really, really well, and he was doing well at the time he was taken off. I was thinking that if you're going to take anyone off between Palmer, Jackson, and Sterling, rather take off Jackson. That I don't have much problem with. Obviously, probably due to the negative bias that arose from his miss in the first half. But regardless, that's what I wanted, to be very, very honest with you guys. The game continued to go on, and Poch was like, you know what? We're shutting up shop. We are shutting up shop. We don't want to let them through. So, Trevor Chalobah, come on. Cole Palmer, come off. Again, before taking off a Cole Palmer, I would have taken off Jackson. But Poch chose to do what he did, and it's, when you look back on it, it wasn't the worst decision ever. And the reason I say that is because when you take off Palmer, yes, you are taking away an attacking option, but what are the other attacking options on the table? You've got Jackson, who stood on the table, who played well on the left-hand side. Overall, it's just that miss that gives us this negative bias. You've got Nkunku up front, and then you've got Gallagher as well, and Gusto on the right. Those are your four attacking options who can still provide a counter-attacking threat against Man City. Cool. The game continues to go on, it goes on, and Poch is like, okay, we're doing a good job, I'm proud of the boys, but I want to do one more thing. Just one more change to lock everything down, to make sure that the game ends 1-0. He brings on Cesare Casade, who came back from being on loan at Leicester during the January transfer window, and he takes off Nicholas Jackson. Now, unfortunately for us, only a minute after this change was made, Rodri scores and he rescues City from an embarrassing loss at home. People will look at the situation and say, Poch, you shouldn't have made those substitutions. Maybe you shouldn't have made all the substitutions that you did. The first two were fine, but maybe you should have left Jackson on and not put Cassidy on. Reason I say that is because Cassidy hasn't had too many minutes in the Prem, right? That's the first thing. So in terms of what he can contribute defensively, you can't expect too much. This is a player who hasn't been playing much. That's the first thing. The second thing is taking off Jackson and putting on Cassidy communicates to Man City that you are parking the bus. And it's also a signal for them to attack until the game ends. So you could look at that substitution from that point of view and say, maybe he should have made it. However, at the end of the day, he did what he thought was right at the time, right? He didn't have the benefit that we now have of retrospect. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But other than that, he coached a win. And the players, they performed at a decent enough level to have deserved a win. So I can't be mad at anyone. Proud of the players, proud of the coaching staff. Shout out to the Chelsea fans that were in attendance at the Etihad, making noise for the team, giving them encouragement. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. Few things to work on here and there, but other than that, no problems. Now, two players I didn't mention. Three players, actually. Enzo Fernandez, W performance. He played well. He fought for us on Saturday. Very, very proud of him. Very proud of him. He didn't score in the same way that he did in the previous games, but that doesn't matter. His overall play in the game, what he contributed defensively and offensively, I'm happy with it. When you look at Moises Caicedo, he did get booked, and at times I thought he was being a bit reckless with how he's tackling and whatnot. However, he really put in a shift. He really, really put in a shift. He's had difficult times this season, right? People thinking, oh, he's not good enough. Chelsea got bamboozled by signing him for 100 million and for 100 plus million, and maybe he's not worth 100 plus million. Fine. But on Saturday, he showed a certain level, and if he continues to show that certain level, I think in the long run we'll be very happy that we got him in the end. And I think that's the end of my thoughts for now, based on Saturday's game. Going into the final against Liverpool, we've got injuries, they've got injuries. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because as much as they will be favourites, the fact that they've got injuries here and there, players who are doubts, that increases our chances of being able to do something. And even if they don't, if we play against them in the same way that we played against City, we're going to be all right. We will be all right, 100% for sure. Because Man City, I think, it pains me to say this, but I think they are the best team in the world. And for us to do what we did against them in their own home, with the injuries that we do have, when their team is nearly at full strength, if we perform at the same level against Liverpool, that the final is not so straightforward for Liverpool. At that point, we give ourselves a chance of winning the Carabao Cup, right? And finally ending our drought of trophylessness in the Carabao Cup. That's my thoughts on the game on Saturday and our chances going into the Carabao Cup final this coming weekend. I'm going to leave it here for now, guys, because I need to do work. I've got some work that I need to do for my courses, and then after that, need to work out as well, that type of thing. Then make the thumbnail for this video, upload the video, all that stuff. So I'm going to leave the video here. Please like the video, share the video, comment on the video, hit the bell notifications to be notified once I've uploaded, and peace.